All right. Okay, we're here. Welcome to the big show. Welcome all. Nice to have you here. TWB Traveling with Bruce, live on a Monday night. What's today's date? July 29th, 2024. It's the last Monday for July. And in 3 weeks from now, I can't believe it. I'm already it's coming so quickly. Jen and I get on an airplane 3 weeks from today and fly to New York City. We won't be on the air Monday night in 3 weeks. We're on the air next week and the week after. But that's a travel day heading for New York, and then we'll be on the Queen Mary 2 Friday, the 23rd of August. Received something in the mail. This came in the mail the other day. Cunard, your ocean awaits, Mr. B and Jen. Queen Mary 2, August 23rd, and they were trying to use a photo of Jennifer's without her permission, but we said okay, you can do that. But here, look at this. Welcome, dear Mr. B. Look at this right here. With your voyage soon to be here, we're looking forward to welcoming you on the Queen Mary 2 for the historic 400th transatlantic crossing. That's the one we booked. The 400th time Cunard has crossed the Atlantic. How about that? That's pretty darn cool. 400th time since 1840. Man, oh man, oh man! So we got a photo. We got a brochure with a bunch of photos of New York, and we got tea and beer, refreshments. There's our tea in the afternoon right there. There's a little crumpets and other thingies. Yeah, we got like that, and that's maybe a little more accurate for us. Older couple. But hey, good times. I gotta say though that I did watch a video the other day, which kind of caught my eye. It was telling me what to do, get ready for the trip and all that. But I caught a video the other day on YouTube about Cunard, and it was about the crossing from I believe it was Southampton to New York, and it was Ben and David. You may have seen that video yourselves if you follow their channel, Ben and David cruising channel. And they were as always honest, which I want to be when I'm on the ship too. I'll give you my 2 bits worth of my opinion. They ranked different aspects of the cruise, which I do appreciate. And they said about the ship itself. This is only like a month or two ago. It wasn't that long ago a cruise. They gave the ship a 5 out of 5, but they did admit, yes, let's get real. This ship was launched in 2003. It's now 2024. It's been 21 years, but the ship just had a refurbishment last year. And so they see a lot of little things that show them they are working on keeping this ship in very good shape. But at the same time, they do see little bits of evidence of a 21-year-old ship. They admit, however, this is an ocean liner. This is not a cruise line. This ship is as big as a cruise ship that would hold 4,500 passengers. Will only hold 2,800 at maximum. And so there's a lot of room out there. It's very roomy, and it's a stable vessel. They gave it a 5 out of 5. They said this ship itself is a floating museum, and it's an experience in itself, and no problem at all. Then it went downhill, and they were talking about something about what we've talked about here in the past, and that was about staffing. That they were surprised that the cruise line advertises itself as a luxury product. You go on a Cunard cruise, you're on a luxury liner. I mean, I got a pamphlet mailed to me for the 400th crossing. We'll see how fancy they do things on this 400th crossing. I have no idea if there's anything special that's going to happen on board at all. But these two were a bit disappointed in the final product being delivered. And the one area they commented on quite a bit was staffing. They mentioned it in the main dining room. They were not impressed with the quality of service and attention and how long it took to get fed in the main dining room. They were not impressed by that. Food quality was okay, but they said, you know what? By the time we would get our appetizer, it would be warm. By the time we got our soup, which was the second part of our second course, the soup was warm. And when we got our main dish, it was cool-ish. It wasn't warm at all. And their thinking is that the staff is so overworked and so thin. They have taken so many people away and given waiters more tables to handle than before, more guests to service than before. They can't keep up. They cannot keep up the intensity and the pace required to serve food at the right moment in time for what it is. So if you're ordering a steak and a baked potato with some vegetables, your steak might be warm, your baked potato might hold the heat better, but your broccoli might be cool. And that's not good. That's just not good. So they were commenting on that. And it wasn't one meal. It was several across the Atlantic, 7-night cruise. They were disappointed in the buffet. They weren't like let down badly. They just weren't impressed for what they were expecting. And they were just going, it's an average quality. It's okay, but it's not luxury liner quality. This is from these guys. I thought that was interesting. On the room, they weren't impressed in that they loved the balcony they had. As a matter of fact, they have the same room style we have. Jennifer and I are in a balcony room that is a sheltered balcony. They were in the sheltered balcony. They loved the balcony. They loved hanging out over the side of the balcony and looking at the water. Loved everything about that. They didn't mind that a bit. What they were disappointed in was they could tell that the cabin they were given was not all that refurbished. They may have replaced the mattresses for the beds, okay, but the coffee table looked wonky. There were just telltale signs that we're in a 21-year-old ship, not a brand new ship. The other thing they were complaining about, and I've seen this with other viewers, is they were not happy about the lack of plug-in places for devices, and especially right by the bed. They were disappointed in that. PAP machine came up as a, for those of you out there who need a PAP machine, you're going to need to bring an extension cord, and interesting comment. The other thing they commented on was the television in the room and what was available to watch on the television. Very poor, below standard, and surprisingly, that Cunard would allow or would actually present to passengers a pretty substandard selection of entertainment on the television. But they did praise with high praise, and I was happy to hear this. They praised the internet. They gave it really good thumbs ups. They said the speed of the internet on board this ship, it's a Starlink system, it's as good as at our house. It is fast, which gives me hope. I am crossing my fingers that I can broadcast live from the ship in our cabin or maybe in other parts. We're hoping for the best. I'm on that ship for 7 days to get to Southampton, and then 12 days right after that all around the UK. We've got 19 straight days on a cruise ship, and I'm hoping that I'll be on the air for both of my channels with the Starlink system. We'll find out. Very, very interesting. Anyway, that was some of the commentary from Ben and David, and I found it the most helpful. Something for me to look out for. I'm now on the prowl. We shall see what we shall see. All right. Very good. Welcome all to the show this evening. I hope you all had a good week. Robert, number one here tonight with a thumbs up. Thank you, my friend. Stephen Butler, I'm here. Number three, buddy. Tom Henry, hello there. I'm number four. Ken Kareka, hi there, Bruce, and all from Janet and Ken in Saginaw, Michigan. It's a humid 83 degrees here. Gasoline is $3.91 a gallon. A refinery apparently went down in Wisconsin. Good evening, all. Number four for us. Ms. M, hello, all. Thumbs up number six from a rainy and smoky Fraser Valley, British Columbia. Boy, is it bad up there. Sharon, number 8 tonight for the thumbs up meter. The author has been editing the audio tracks for his next release. Double takedown. But I think he'll make an appearance at some point. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Stephen Butler, A Dead Winter by Kevin Chapman is a good read. A few nods to Traveling with Bruce is a divergence from the Mike Stoneman series, but there's a crossover of some characters. I enjoyed the TW references and the story. Sharon, Stephen Butler, thank you. Shumai, hi Bruce, how many days left for you and Jen to go into the Queen Mary 2? We're on the 23rd, baby. 3 weeks from this Friday, we're on the ship. We leave 3 weeks today for New York City. Sylvia is here. Hello there. Hello, all. Tom Henry, hi there to you. Kevin Chapman, the author himself, is right here. Stephen Butler thinks if I'm going to have a boat in my story, it's going to be called Traveling with Bruce. Sylvia at number 13, thank you. Hi, Sylvia. Stephen Butler, Kevin, I did not want to steal your thunder or give away any spoilers. I enjoyed the book very much. Twists and turns. Sylvia, Tom Henry, I'm watching an 11 and 12-year-old. The 11-year-old got in trouble with the rec center, putting hands on another child younger. Oh, my goodness. What else we got here? Brent and Ann love cruising. Brent and Ann, Ancaster, Ontario, 15 number thumbs up. Temperature 28 Celsius. Gas is 164 a liter. Thank you all for joining us. Welcome to the channel, you guys. Kirk Brunsel's YouTube and Facebook channel. Hi, Bruce TW family. Kirk from the Big Apple is here, and I'm at work tonight. Welcome, my friend. Sylvia, Tom Henry, when is your next cruise? Diana and I, Diana had a family reunion in Savannah, Georgia, a couple of weeks ago. Very nice and very hot in Savannah. Tom Henry, Sylvia, September 6th, departing Boston, back-to-back to Quebec and back. Watch cartoons and anime. Hi, how are you doing today? Welcome to the show. Sylvia, okay, Boston should be nice at that time of year. My next trip will be in Wilmington, North Carolina for Diana's 30th birthday celebration. Alan Carter, number 19, thumbs up. Welcome. Thank you, Katie. Hello there. Kirk Brunson, 4 weeks until my next cruise, baby. And Steve, hello from the UK. I have a poll question going tonight. If you or any of you are interested in trying to answer the poll question, it basically asks you, it says here, when I go for a cruise ship vacation, I usually book an inside room, an ocean view room, a balcony room, a suite. And so far, 11% are saying we book inside, 19% ocean view, 67% balcony, and 4% in a suite. I guess I'm not surprised at the balcony being so dominant, because on a modern day cruise ship now, you know just how many of the cabins, really 80-85% are balcony now. Very few are not. Now in that 85%, that would probably also include suites, but nonetheless, thank you for answering that poll question. 29 votes and counting. Fantastic. Early results. 21 thumbs ups. Thank you, all of you, for thumbs ups. We hit over 85 last week. I was still getting email alerts yesterday and Saturday from viewers who were watching last Monday's show, mentioning I gave you thumbs up number 68, 74, 83. Fantastic. Thank you so much for responding with thumbs ups. It really helps the channel. Donnell in Cork, Ireland is in the house. Hi, Bruce and all. Number 9 tonight. Great to be here. Hope you and Jenny's experience on the Queen Mary 2 is ace. We are very much looking forward to it. There's a pub on board. We're going to have to give that a try. Apparently, the food in the pub is ranked very high. It's very popular, very enjoyable, and no one complains about the pub. There's also a coffee kind of a place, a bistro coffee place that apparently has some wonderful desserts. So we're looking forward to trying that out. Yeah, we're open to the whole shebang. We're going to be on the ship for 19 days straight, 7 plus 12. Then we're in Europe, and then we come back to New York. 10 more days from Hamburg over to Southampton to New York. So we're going to get 29 days of action on that ship. We're going to check it all out, and I hope to make a number of videos from it. Tom Henry is saying, hey, Donnell, Tony and Don will be in Cork tomorrow. How about that? I hope they've got something lined up with Donnell. I don't know if they do or not. Fantastic. A whole bunch of people cruising out there and coming into Cork, Ireland. Thank you all so much for popping in today and seeing me from wherever you are. Say hi if you can. Tell me what's your high temperature today. What's the price of gasoline where you live? Are you paying a fortune? Is it coming down at all? The price of crude is dropping. We're under 70, 78 bucks a barrel, down to 77 something. Are you in the same stateroom for both cruises? Apparently, yes. We're in the same cabin for transatlantic and around UK, but we are getting a different cabin number, same category coming back, but we just don't know what it is yet. Tom Henry, they are on a Caribbean Princess coming into Cork. Steve, I was on the Queen Mary 2 for 4 days in 2019. And Sharon, yes, he says he's answering Sharon's question. I'll show you something else that I got, and I may have shown you this before, so don't mind me if I have shown you this. But quickly, there's the ship, of course, Queen Mary 2. Here's a shot here leaving New York or coming in, whichever. It's probably leaving New York here. And then off the back end there, the aft, you see the back docks, or decks, I should say. Here's a shot of the spa area. And then this is our cabin, this is our class of cabin with a view of our balcony area. It's quite a large square footage there, 2 chairs and a little table. And then we have that enclosed balcony with the open area there. Looking forward to seeing that. Crossing the transatlantic, obviously we're going from New York to Southampton. Once in Southampton, we're doing this itinerary here. We're going to be going from Southampton and then off to the right here and up to Edinburgh. And you can see us going all the way over the top and all the way back down. Glasgow will be in our picture. Liverpool, we're doing an overnight stay in Liverpool. And then Cork, there's Cork, Ireland, where Donnell is hanging out. And then back to Southampton. Here's something we received a week or two ago. It was an opportunity to upgrade our cabin. So they were offering us the opportunity to make a bid to upgrade to a penthouse or to a queen suite. And if we would start at $3,580 US per person, we could start the bidding for the penthouse suite. Now, even if we made that offer, there's no guarantee we'd get it. We can slide all the way up to $8,200 a person. If we want to go with a queen suite, we could start with $1,830 per passenger and slide all the way up to $4,200 a passenger. And you can see the queen suite from that angle. There's a lot larger than what we're into now. Here are the other offers we got. It looks like every cabin was available. The Princess Suite, which is really a standard balcony in my opinion, $1,285 a person, all the way up to $2,995 if you wanted to bid for that. The Britannia Club balcony, which is just a regular balcony room, $430 and up, and then the Britannia balcony, $195. So obviously we are in the steerage area when it comes to our cabin. With our cabin having this facility here and this view here, this is the standard Britannia balcony cabin. That's as cheap as they come in a balcony. And if you take a look at this shot right here, where if you look at the ship where you can see the name Queen Mary 2 at the top there, I think if you look at the number 2 and you go down until I believe it's the first level of, looks like windows just underneath the lifeboats, or the second level, we're there. That's deck 7. As we're just under the lifeboats is deck 7, the promenade deck, and just below that is deck 6. That's us. So we're probably going to have people walking over top of us, I suppose, on the promenade deck, and we've booked ourselves in there. I have not taken advantage of making a bid to upgrade ourselves to a higher level balcony. I've kind of thought, we booked this room and we're probably going to be fine with it because we're going to use the ship as our balcony, living room, and rec room, and swimming area. And I'm just going to sleep here, although I will be broadcasting from here somewhat. There's a table, there's a couch there. I might be on the balcony from time to time. We'll see how it all works out. But I was curious about those costs to upgrade oneself to a higher level. Oh my God, unbelievable. Anyway, there is that. We'll see how this all works out. Thank you all. Jane is here. Hi, Jess. Hi, Bruce. 81 degrees here in Jersey City, New Jersey. I'm sailing Norwegian Joy in a few weeks for a 10-day cruise from New York City to several Caribbean islands. I wouldn't do anything other than a balcony at the minimum. There's no way I wouldn't do anything but a balcony. Sylvia, Tom Henry, does Tony and Dawn know Donnell? I don't know. Kevin, thumbs up number 28. Bruce, all aboard for a balcony stateroom. Giddy up. Donnell, hi Tom, that's news to me. I must check it out and perhaps even meet them. There you go. Sylvia, Donnell, hi there. Steve, you passed me on the way to Edinburgh. How about that? You see? Donnell, hi Sylvia. I did send some messages to them a long time ago, but I doubt they remember me. I hope all is well with you. Sylvia Donnell, all is well here. Steve, that's the same type of cabin I had with the enclosed balcony on the ship as well. Right on, sir. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, we're looking forward to the cruise. We really are. I'm not interested. I wasn't thinking of a big end suite, nothing like that. We're pretty convinced, and I'm sure we'll be pretty happy with a balcony near the middle of the ship. The lower you are, the less rocking you will have. The higher you are, the more amplified the rocking can be. And if you're at the front or the back, much more amplified. So being in the middle and lower, a little more stable. We'll see how it works out. Looking forward to the trip. Some news today. A little bit of news for you in cruise land, in the cruise world. I noticed that Royal Caribbean was made an announcement a little while ago about what ship is it? This ship right here. They made an announcement about this ship, if I recall, right there. And if I'm correct, the Ovation of the Seas. The Ovation of the Seas, if I'm not mistaken, was originally christened in China, but has been reserved for the China market and is now being pulled out. This ship is being pulled out of China, and I found that to be interesting. Here's an example of part of the buffet area, and of course the ship has been completely customized for the Chinese cruiser with Chinese decorations, tastes, Chinese signage on board deck, and so on. Notice here there are ads, have been ads and billboards to promote the ship to the domestic Chinese market. Also, models were hired to pose for happy family vacations. This is one of those 2-story tall, high-end suites with your indoor slide, to promote the family going and that type of thing. Here is a promotion of the ship, and you can see on the bottom left there's a panda bear. On the bottom right is sort of kind of looks like a porter in a caricature kind of way. I don't know what that, but in any event, this is you can see the background of the artistic rendition here, just behind the back of the ship. You can see sort of a pagoda, and of course, lots of Chinese references, the Great Wall, and how the ship is 9 times wider than the Great Wall of China. Obviously, this is an advertisement in English. It's likely this may have been in an English language newspaper, perhaps Hong Kong or elsewhere, talking about the statistics of the ship. And so apparently the story goes that that this ship is being pulled from the China market. Now, the so-called reasoning is challenges, pricing challenges. I can tell you right now, folks, I have heard this before, and I'm not surprised to hear it again. Norwegian tried and failed China. Carnival was going to try China on their own, and then they got smart and they teamed up with a Chinese-based operator and did a 50-50 deal so that they would be given a better chance at success. Royal Caribbean, this is the second time I think they're pulling a ship out. Costa tried it. I'm not sure about MSC if they tried it or not. It's not working. And I can tell you what the reasoning is. It is many reasons why it doesn't work in China. The reality is if you are trying to launch a cruise ship service in China, based out of China, for Chinese nationals, you're under some severe restrictions. You must sell all your cruises through licensed, quote unquote, licensed travel agents that the Chinese government allows to sell these packages to. And the commissions that they take off the top are absolutely brutal. The cruise lines really are powerless to score money from the cruise itself. The money the cruise line makes is money spent on board the ship. And you're hoping that they spend big money on alcohol and big money gambling because that's where you're going to get your dough from. I had heard that there had been talk a few years ago, pre-COVID, that when the Norwegian Joy cruise ship was christened and sent to China, it was completely made for the China traveler. That they were losing 60% commission to the travel agencies, and the word is that in order to become a licensed travel agent in China, depending on what city you are licensed in, you have to bribe local officials to get a license. And then you have to keep paying bribes on the business. And welcome to the underbelly of the Communist Party, where free enterprise, think again. There's a lot of shady nonsense going on. Cruise lines can't make a go of it. You have to buy all the food for the cruise through Chinese vendors because you're based and you end your cruise in Shanghai or somewhere else. You're dealing with, of course, you can deal with Chinese staff and you can attempt to pay low wages, but there's just all kinds of problems. There's all kinds of talk about how if you're in a line to get into the buffet, and if you're behind a certain age of a Chinese female grandparent that with a big purse, you may find that when you get up to where all the crabs and lobster and shrimp are, the trays just magically are empty by the time you get there because these gigantic purses are lined with a plastic kind of a lining to just load up and take it back to the cabin. Especially on the last day or two, this food is going home. It's one step away from the third world. I'm not saying every passenger's like this. I'm not trying to be critical, but I have heard the absolute horror stories and the absolute hilarity, the funniest stories of passengers behaving in a very peculiar way when they're on board certain ships. Now, the high-end first-class traveler on board these ships, I know they have no problem with paying top dollar to get on the ship, and will gamble with top amount of money, win and lose millions, no problem. But you're dealing with a ship that can hold 4,500, 5,200 people. You're going to have some interesting characters on board the ship. And I don't want to say any more than that. I think I think you get the message, and I'm going to leave it at that. What can I say? Nowadays, Chinese can't afford housing. How can they afford cruising? I just want to know about that. Tom, Chinese are huge wasters of food in the buffet. I mean, he's just coming out and saying. I mean, Tom is just coming out and saying it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, to Sylvia, didn't NCL have a customized ship that they had to pull also? I guess the Chinese people don't like the cruise or it's too expensive. They pulled the Joy cruise ship out. The Norwegian people took the Joy cruise ship out of China in like a year. And then they shipped it down to, they sailed it to Singapore, where they Americanized it. They de-Chinesed it and Americanized it because they had two casinos on board that ship. They had to rip one out. They're only allowed one casino and only so much footage depending on the size of the ship. Again, I'm just telling you what I think I know about that, but I do know and I do recall $90 million. 90 million is what the price was for Norwegian to rip up and reassemble a cruise ship that was 1 year old. And it didn't have a spa on board like all the other Norwegian ships. I was thinking of going on the Joy for a cruise. And I came this close to booking a cabin on board the ship when I found out they don't have the spa. Not like the Epic has or the Bliss or others. And I thought, oh no, I'm not going on a cruise ship without a spa. No, so they had to rip everything out, take all the Chinese lettering off, put all English lettering on. Every room had to be redone for, again, the North American way. And they put that ship up to Alaska the first year right away. That would have been 2018, I think. They took that ship right up to Alaska and started selling it to Americans who were filling up the ship and not stealing all the buffet food. Yeah, there you go. Yes, Sylvia, it was the Joy. What else? Sylvia, I thought I didn't say how the ship built specifically for it was the Joy. You missed my answer, Sylvia. Shumai, very true. The Chinese Communist government wants to make 90% of whatever for their own pockets. That is food stamps. Paul, thank you, Paul. I'm kind of hoping that the Philippine region might be the next hot thing in cruising. Food is amazing. It's not that expensive all over there, but of course, once cruise lines get there, that may change. Tom, Joy finally has a spa built in Jan 24 dry dock. There you go, 5-6 years later. Stephen Butler, no spa, no Bruce. Laugh out loud. You can put that one on your TWB merchandise. Exactly right. No spa, no Uncle Bruce, no Bruce. Interesting. So now Ovation of the Seas out of China. It will be next year in the USA. Very, very interesting. What's happening in that China market? Yes, the Chinese economy is in a shambles. The youth unemployment rate was so bad. This is a year ago. They were admitting that it was about 12 to 13% unemployment. And then the next month's unemployment rate was supposed to be released, and the rumor was it was going to be 14 to 15%, because the youth unemployment rate in China is abysmal, and the government stopped releasing reports. They just didn't release them anymore. Sorry, we're just not going to do it. We have to, what was the word they were using? Stuff like, we have to recalibrate the figures to make them more accurate to what's really going on. Miraculously, 3 months later, they started coming out with unemployment reports for the youth in China, about 10-11%. Chinese people on the internet and elsewhere were talking about 40 to 50% unemployment for people under 25. University graduates in China could not find career jobs. They only could find jobs in laundromats, restaurants, dishwashers, sweeping sidewalks. Yeah, then they didn't want to take those jobs because once that's on your resume, you are branded as a loser because this is the culture. It's unbelievable. So many are staying unemployed. They just haven't entered the workforce at this time. And some of them, I'm sure, are thinking of studying more for whatever they're going to study for. It's pretty bad. Real estate China, disaster. Factory shutdowns, export numbers, bad. They are into all kinds of problems. And so this cruising segment, they may have lost half the market just from people who want to go but can't afford to. And now the other half, they're holding back their dollars and yen and whatever else because they're afraid that they might not be able to replace the dollars they're using for a holiday on a cruise ship. Bad news all around, and there you go. They're just pulling back. Anyway, there's the one story for you to think about. Another story for you today, also to do with Royal Caribbean, and I'm not picking on them. Believe me, I'm not. Just happened to be today. I saw another story on Royal Caribbean. It's about the ship right here, Icon of the Seas. The Icon of the Seas, brand new ship. I believe Tony was just on the ship like a couple of weeks ago for an inaugural cruise. Dawn chose not to go on this ship, but story goes that this ship is so popular, and it is coming out just, here we are in July, that this ship has attracted a massive demand, following demand. Apparently, the ship is sailing at a capacity level of 138%. So this ship is 38% over capacity on each sailing that it's booked on right now for the foreseeable future. What does that mean? Well, it means that if you've got mom and dad in a balcony cabin and you have a fold-out couch, you probably have one or two kids sharing the fold-out couch. And that means that cabin is at 200% occupancy instead of 100% occupancy because the beds are made for two and they've got four people in there. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if there are cabins where they brought in a rollaway bed and they've not only got the couch going, but got the rollaway bed too. And you got four or five, now five people in the cabin instead of four. 138% capacity. Take a look at all this stuff you can play with on this ship. I mean, the wave runner, the pools, the water slides over there. Oh, lordy, lordy, loo. This ship is just, it's a haven. It's perfect for families with kids. For someone of my age, 68, 69, Jen and I don't think this ship is really for us. I know I would find it a fascinating place to go to. I'd find this ship a fascinating ship to cover as a YouTuber, but for Jen and I to have a getaway and to enjoy a quiet time, I can see myself at the front of the ship where that gray glass bubble is up there. That is the sanctuary, I believe. However, it might be that it's reserved for adults only, and perhaps it might be reserved for the higher end clients. But that would be the only way I'd stay on the ship, really. I would want to be in a higher cabin to be away from complete mayhem, but I don't know if that's possible. I really don't know. We're talking 7,500 people on board the ship at any one time, plus the crew of 2,300 people. That's 9,800 people per cruise. That's I don't think that's going to work for me. I'm sorry. I just don't think that's going to work for me. I don't know about yourselves. Maybe it's right up your alley. Maybe that's what you're looking for in a cruise. Maybe that's, yeah. Can you imagine evacuating that ship in an emergency? No. I can imagine the hell it would be, the absolute nightmare it would be, especially if it was listing to one side. Oh my God. I mean, if that ship were to list at 12 degrees, you would have people on the bottom not being able to get up to the top to get up. No, it would be tragic. Yes, I'm with you there. Shumai, how is Viking Ocean Cruise? Is it good? I hear good things about Viking. I don't hear bad things about Viking. By the way, Stephen Butler, 9,000 plus people. No, thank you, sir. No, thank you whatsoever. Yeah, I've heard very good things about Viking cruises. Viking, of course, started as a company in the river cruise segment. That's where they began their business, and then they graduated to ocean liner type business, and they've been successful at both. They started off with, I think, 3 or 4 ships in the ocean liner side of things, and then they began to order up more ships behind their initial ships. Certainly on the river side, they're still adding ships to the river cruising area. Here's a couple of photos I'm uploading. Hang on a second, I'll show you. On the fly, like, talk about service. Hang on just one more second here. I just got to get this one up. Here we go, right there. Like I said, back in the 70s, 80s, we started here. They started with this business right here, the river cruise business. There's a publicity shot for you. And of course, you see those piers over there by the side of the river, and off they go. You stop at villages and towns and cities along the way and take tours. Food is excellent. Service is excellent. I hear nothing but very good things about Viking. Although people have told me, some in the cruise cruise agency trade, that there are cruise lines of an even higher grade than these guys on the river side of things. Here in the ocean category, ocean liner, these are ships that are all identical. I don't know, is there 15 of them now, holding about 945 or so passengers per ship max. And they've been given great grades, high grades, all-inclusive cruising, except for specialty alcohol. If you would like a rum and coke in the afternoon, you're gonna have to pay for it. But if you'd like a drink during dinner, you'd like a glass of wine or a beer during dinner, that's included in your cruise. I believe soft drinks are included as well in your cruising. The spa access is included. There are no specialty dining. There are no casinos. No children under 16 or 18. I think it's 18 and under, not allowed. So it's an exclusive line from a cruise point of view. The river cruising is of a good quality, a very good quality. Definitely in the upper half, I would say. Okay, so there's your answer. I hope you like it. Yeah, Stephen, you're right. 9,000 passengers having to get off a ship like that. You remember that the disaster of the Costa Concordia? You remember that? How long ago was that? Was that maybe 2018, 2019? Concordia. Let me show you a photo of that. Trying to get off of that ship during its problems. I mean, here is I'm going to show you an image here that was as the ship was slowly sinking and listing badly. This is an image that made the world press for sure. Let's see if I can bring that up for you. There it is. Let's pop it up for you. Yeah, the Costa Concordia. 32 people died on this ship here. This ship hit a rock and was doing this 15 feet from shore, 20 feet from shore. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner, you can barely make out a rock formation sticking out there. That was the craggy little shore there, just off the coast there in Italy. And even at this level here, with that kind of listing, people were having a tough time getting to the lifeboats. It was not good. It was very bad. And 32 people died. So how about that? Now, just think about a ship 50% longer than this ship, roughly, and certainly, 80 feet wider and 10 more decks higher. Total carnage. That would be absolutely terrible, terrible loss of life. Yeah, you can't imagine a ship of this size not being affected by that kind of listing. I mean, my God, yeah, unreal. But that's another story for another day. I hope it never happens. I hope I never have to cover a story like that. Anyway, there you go. It was January 13th, 2012. Thank you, Sharon. I was on the air starting August 2011. No, I'm sorry. I went on the air 2017. Pardon me. This is before my time. It sank. It sank in 12. Thank you, Sharon, so much. More people than Creston, Uncle Bruce, on this big ship. Isn't that amazing, Sylvia? You're right. Yeah, I started this channel, by the way, in in August 2017. 2 weeks from now will be my 7th year on the air with this channel. That's something. 7 years, unbelievable. And the Costa Concordia had already happened. Wow, just wow. That's 12 years ago. Wow, unbelievable. Okay, I have one more story for you. The story that I wanted to mention today is a story about the cruise ship industry as a whole, and that right now, as of today, the end of July 2024, the average age of a cruise ship that is out there is now 17 and a half years. Did you know that? That's the average age of a cruise ship today, 17 and a half years. Jen and I are going on the Queen Mary 2, and it's now 21 years old, so it's over the average, just refurbished last year. This ship right here that you see behind me, the Homerick, was a ship that I crossed the Atlantic Ocean on in 1962 with my mother and father and my sister from Germany to Canada. The Homerick, this ship was about 15 years old when I was on it. I think it was built in 52 or so. After the Second World War, this ship was built, and it sailed until 67, and then it burned. It had a fire, and it was being refurbished, and it was lost. It was destroyed. It was probably losing money when it was long gone, but it was at that point an ancient ship. Believe it or not, 52. Sorry, I take that back. In 1952, I was a 10-year-old ship when I was on it. It died in 67, and so it was only 15 years old. It actually was only 15 years old and wasn't making money anymore because it was an ocean liner. It was not an ocean. It wasn't a cruise ship. Here's a photo that whoever took this photo probably didn't realize exactly, or maybe they did realize the absolute historic nature of this photo when it was taken back in the day. On the left, you have the Queen Elizabeth II. On the right, the Norway from the SS Norway, which is the Norwegian cruise line. That ship used to be known as the SS France. That was the SS France ocean liner. And on the left is the Queen Mary 2 ocean liner from Southampton. And the Queen Mary was retired a few years ago, in probably 2015 or so. It was retired. It's now sitting in Dubai as a bit of a museum piece that you can stay on board her as a hotel, floating hotel. The Norway, unfortunately, met a tragic and sad end. Here's a photo of the France, the SS France in her glory. And it's a painting, let's be honest. It's really not a photo, or it might be an enhanced photo, I guess. Yeah, it's probably a photo that's been enhanced. But take a look at the hull on this ship and how this ship was designed to plow through massive North Atlantic waves and give folks as smooth a ride in luxury as possible. Towards the end of its life, it was sent for scrap, unfortunately, as the Norway. The Norway ended up with a tragic accident in its engine room. There was work being done on the boilers, and they had an explosion on board the ship. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the ship, there were 5 or 8 casualties at that moment in time for the boiler, in the boiler room. Now, this picture is the ship already being scrapped. So there are chunks of it missing. One of the funnels is being cut down already. Notice at the very front where the hull is, compared to this photo here where the hull is pointing at a beautiful pointed nose there, and this photo, it's missing. And the reason it's missing is that the hull of this ship is now on display in a city. I'm not sure if is it Boston or exactly where it is. Does anybody know exactly where the hull of this ship is located? This is a photo with the hull still intact, but if you notice, just below the hull there seems to be, I think that is some netting, and I suspect that is a welder who's already beginning to cut the nose of that ship off. But you can see here the one funnel is basically gone. The second funnel is about to go. Big gaps have been cut away on that ship as it was completely cut up and scrapped for metal. Unfortunately, this is what happens to old cruise ships eventually. They, like this photo here, this is a photo from about 2020, just as COVID was really rocking the world. And what you're looking at here is an image of a number of ships, 5 different cruise ships that were brought in to, I believe, in Turkey, if I'm not mistaken, into a scrapyard, and they're all to be cut up. There's a couple of a big container ship there on the right, and some other, probably a grain or iron ore kind of ship on the far left, all being cut up bit by bit. You can tell by the nose on the hull on a couple of those ships, they've already started working on them. And water slides were added to these ships, and they tried every feature to keep them going and making money as long as possible. The ship on the left, the last cruise ship on the left, is a Carnival ship. So is the second last and the third last. Those 3 ships on the left are all Carnival ships that were brought in. And then over here on the right side, I believe those were Pullmantur ships, which were a division of Royal Caribbean. And you used to be able to get $30 a night cruises on those ships. Here's a closer look at how these ships get just chopped up. Yeah, the 3 Carnivals are up at the top there, and in the bottom here, I think those are Pullmantur ships. You can tell by the smokestack there on the left, that's the Pullmantur logo. And these ships are done for, and it's all over. These ships, by the way, at the very end of their lives, all 5 of these cruise ships being chopped up were worth more money for the raw steel than as floating cruise ships, because they were losing money in the water. They were not able to sail now at this time because of COVID, so they were out of business. The 3 Carnival ships were probably costing the cruise line $500,000 a week in losses, so you're better off to chop them up and take 20-30 million in steel money per ship. Some of these ships went for pretty good money on the scrap market. So yeah, these 5 came in pretty quick, and they were chopped up very quickly. In any event, that's what happens with ships in the end, as we know. Unfortunately, these beautiful legends of the sea, and these 2 here, having been at port beside each other, one to the other, you're never going to see that ever again. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And of course, this picture is indicative of how time passes. Of course, how time passes. The Norway used to be the France, and that was the most luxurious, most desired ship at sea at one time. This would have been in the late 50s and early 60s. And then the Queen Elizabeth II, it was launched in 1969, even though jets had taken over the Atlantic. Cunard was brave enough to launch a brand new transatlantic ship, the Queen Elizabeth II, knowing there was no competition in 1969 anymore. The Queen Mary was being retired, the original Queen Elizabeth was retired, and all the other cruise lines gave up transatlantic service. And so in reality, the Queen Elizabeth II, for a while, had the North Atlantic to herself, and she could then do annual round-the-world cruises for top dollar for nostalgic cruisers, and they got top dollar. This ship, believe it or not, the Queen Elizabeth II, right up until its last days as a sailing ship, made money. The ship made money right up to the end. It sold for $100 million to a Dubai based businessman And let me see if I can make this work. I want to show you a photo of this ship. Let's see, QE2 in Dubai. Let's see if I can get this to work. Yeah, this ship made money right up till the end. I saw the Queen Elizabeth II at the very end of its days as a actual working cruise ship. I saw it at the very end of its life when it was in Spain. It was on its last cruise, ultimately headed to Dubai. And I'm just going to give you a couple of photos here. I'm finding a couple of good shots for you. And I took about 50 photos of this ship using my digital camera of the day, the camera I had at the time, to preserve it. And I was standing on the pier, and the hull of the ship was 10 feet away from me, 12 feet away from me. A little too far to reach it by hand. I couldn't touch it, but it was standing right there and just sitting there. And when we left the port on our cruise ship, there were we had 2,300 passengers. There were 2,000 passengers on our cruise ship, standing on the top decks, looking at the Queen Elizabeth II as we were leaving port, knowing, we all knew, you're never going to see it again. And there she was. Now this is a shot. I think a lot of this shot is artistically enhanced, so take it for what it's worth. Here's another shot here of, I think, again, an artist rendition of. There's an interpretive center, and there's a lobby check-in area here, and you can have corporate events on board this ship. I think you can do a party of some kind or something like that. I think that's what they've done here. The cabins are now available for overnight stays, and so depending on which, not every single one, but I actually did a video on this a while ago, and you can book this ship and a cabin. Let me see if I can get this image up here on one of the here we go. There's one of the rooms right there with the bedding and so on. And so the ship lives as a hotel, but it was sold for $100 million to a group of Dubai business people, and then they had to spend quite a bit of money on it to furbish it up, and I guess that's what happened in any event. Yeah, interesting stuff. Let's see, who else is here? Hello, Mrs. Brittany Anderson. How you doing? Rocky Grasso, how you doing there, pal? Welcome to the show tonight. Stephen, Port de la Grenelle in Paris is where the bow of the SS Norway is on display, formerly the SS France. Thank you so much, Mr. Butler. You are an awesome viewer. I thank you for that info. And any of you who helped me out with this info, I love you guys for that. I hope you don't mind me doing a little bit of advertising here for another YouTube channel. Just trying to gain the channel some traffic for Monday Night Trivia. Against my channel? Oh my goodness. Doing well, Sylvia. Brittany, I have been busy on Monday evenings, as Mondays and Tuesdays are my husband's Saturdays and Sundays. Welcome to the show. Sylvia, Brittany Anderson, that's great. Brittany, my husband, just recently got a new vehicle. This time it's a second vehicle for us, and it's waiting for its ship from Japan. Oh, okay. I would like to stay on the ship as a hotel. That would be kind of nice. Jennifer and I were on the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. We spent a night in a suite, like a nice. It was a big room. And for its day, it was a primo room if you were to cross the Atlantic. It wasn't like the suite, but it was a nice unit. And we spent a night on the ship. We liked it. We ate on board the ship that night for dinner. And we walked the ship. We took a tour. We had a tour guide right to the engine room and the area, what was left of it. It was interesting, very interesting. Back in the, oh my God, that was in the 90s. A long time ago. I know that the Queen Mary has had a lot of refurbishments since then, including in the last 2 years. A lot of work done on the Queen Mary to make it how do I say it? Seaworthy enough to be a hotel. How about that? Because the ship was in danger of listing and leaking, even just sitting in the water it was sitting in. True story. The city of Long Beach had to put a lot of money into that structure, but it's an icon of the city, and they wanted to keep it going. Anyway, yeah. I'd do it again. I would do it again on the Queen Mary. I wouldn't mind being on the Queen Elizabeth ship for a night or two in Dubai. I don't think I mind. Everything is air conditioned now, and it's climatized and so on. But it's not the same. I'm very much looking forward to the Queen Mary 2 to cross the Atlantic. I'm very much looking forward to that. One more note before I go. Thank you again for all of you who've been here tonight. Thank you for the 40 thumbs ups you have found for us already. This is absolutely marvelous. There are 38 of you here. We have 40 thumbs ups. Pretty darn good number. And thank you for answering the poll question tonight. 51 people have answered the poll question. When I go for a cruise ship vacation, I usually book an inside room. 18% say I book an inside room. An ocean view room, 20% say ocean view. A balcony room, 55% say I book a balcony room. And a suite, 8% of you book a suite. So how about that? Not too bad. Thank you for answering the poll question. Thank you for finding the thumbs up button for me and hitting the thumbs up button. 42 now have come through. If you're watching on the rerun, I cannot thank you enough for hitting the thumbs up button. Let me know what number you are. Much, much appreciated. I look forward to seeing you all next week if you can come by. It'll be my second last show before Jen and I take off to start our summer getaway. Come and join us next week and the week after, and we'll look forward to seeing you later. We're thinking of a meet and greet in New York. We're thinking of doing the meet and greet after our return from Europe. We're looking at the likelihood of Saturday, October the 26th, in the Times Square area. Location to be determined, time to be determined. We'll let you know. We'll probably nail that down and finalize it once we're in New York 3 weeks from now. We're going to check out the hood and where we are, and we'll let you know where we're going to organize a meet and greet. And hopefully some of you can join us in that swinging town of New York. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, Anyway, thank you all for joining me tonight and seeing us. I appreciate you. Larry, checking in. Thank you, my friend. And thank you to all of you who've joined us tonight from wherever you are. It's much appreciated. Have a wonderful week. It's Bruce here and Jen from Calgary saying see you later, alligator, and we'll see you next Friday, or next Monday, I should say, at the same time. All the best. Take care, and bye for now.